Massive show today. We are talking about the top 4 rookie running backs for fantasy football 2025. Depending on their landing spot, they could absolutely boom. And stay to the end. I've got an NFL team. I just read an NFL team is looking to scout one of these guys. They want to meet with him, and that could be an absolute disaster for one of them. All right, I'll tell you. Actually, I'll tell you who it is. It's Ashton Genty, which we'll get to at the end here. But I'm going to save what team it is till at the end and tell you why it could be an absolute disaster for Genty and the guy that he's going to be in a committee with potentially, but hopefully it won't happen. So that news is at the end here, but I'm excited to dive into these 4 running backs, tell you why they could absolutely crush it for fantasy football 2025, depending on their landing spot. Now, there is more running backs on these 4, but these are the top 4 that jumped out at me that we need to cover. I want to work into this slowly here in the offseason so you guys aren't completely overwhelmed with this talent, right? But one thing that is important is their landing spot. Where they land will really, really impact how they will do. That's why the last guy, Genty, if he lands on this one team, it's game over for him. I don't see him doing as well as he possibly could. Okay, I'm going to tell you that team at the end. All right, if you're new to the channel, smash it, tap it, slap it, hit the thumbs up. You can pre-order 16 rounds, so when that comes out, you'll know exactly when to draft these guys, get them a round or 2 ahead of the mainstream consensus sheeps in the sheep in your league. Pre-order 16 rounds, you can get it below right now. Once you get it, you can get your login, you can get it all set up, and 16 rounds actually comes out 2 weeks after the NFL draft. I'm going to release all my notes and all the optimal players drafted in each round, so you have that perfect draft. Sleepers, breakout, late round steals, and rookies, everything in there for you so you know which rookies to draft. Last year, told you to draft Brian Thomas Jr., everyone was telling you to get Christian Kirk ahead of him. Rankings won't help you guys, but 16 rounds will. Pre-order it below right now, all right? So let's dive into it. We're going to go through these 4 rookie running backs. I'm going to tell you who I love. You got to learn a little bit about them. You got to know who they are, where they're from, what they've done. So we're going to do a deep dive here for you. So let's start off with the first guy here is Omarion Hampton. A couple notes on him out of North Carolina. And the thing, I got the stats right here for you. So I'm going to just go over it right here. 6 foot, 220 pounds out of North Carolina. You look at his last year here. Pretty good stats, 1,660 yards on the ground, 5.9 yards per carry. Not bad. I like to see that. And 15 rushing touchdowns. He got a little bit done in the receiving game, 38 receptions, 373 yards. Now, I did watch the tape. Now, I want to let you know that I ended up watching the tape on all these guys. So I'm going to give you guys my breakdown and some of the notes here as well. And the notes that they've listed here on the scouting report actually are matching some of what I'm seeing on tape, which is really, really good to see, right? So when you look at Omarion Hampton, again, it depends on where he lands. He has that workhorse capable ability, right? 4.44 is pretty much his time. That's kind of what we're expecting here at Combine here. 21 years old. Now let's go over a little bit about his profile and kind of his a little bit of his advantages. Right now, what I saw on him, violent finisher, absolutely agree with this. Natural feet for pressing at the line, getting skinny through tight creases despite the imposing frame. Elite burst when hitting the hole, accelerating from 0 to 100, well, full speed, right? Excels in the gap, physical pass protector. Couple notes that I got specifically that I made on him. And, violent finisher for sure, elite burst, hitting the hole, and outstanding after contact. So one thing that I did notice about him that really jumped out is when he gets hit, he bounces off the defenders and he maintains balance and continues to get more yardage. This is a huge feature, when I'm looking for fantasy, is I want my player to be upright and getting me those extra fantasy points when I need them. So I really like him. He looks very strong. Again, the hits, when he takes that contact, bouncing off and really, really doing well. He also has good hands and he won't go down. Those are just notes that I made when I was watching him. So Omarion Hampton, I got him here as a top 4. Now, again, this isn't in a particular order. I've got all these 4 as top 4 running backs, but really what matters is where they land. Where they land will really just predicate how they will do in fantasy, because you got so many good running backs last year that came out, guys like Blake Corum and Trey Benson, who were top prospects, but ended up in a committee. It was very disastrous for a fantasy perspective. So number 1, Omarion Hampton, tons of upside, workhorse capable, and all 4 of these guys have workhorse capabilities, and we got to see where they land, okay? So that's the first one here. Now I'm going to pull up the second one, and I'm going to talk about him. Again, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Do you like the breakdowns? Is this giving you guys some good insight? But landing spot is huge. So the second guy I'm going to pull up here, who I really like a lot, is Caleb Johnson. Let's talk about Caleb Johnson. And what kind of expecting out of him. Out of Iowa, his senior numbers are pretty good here. As you can see, 1,500 yards on the ground, 6.4 yards per carry, 21 touchdowns, 22 receptions, And what is that? 188 receiving yards. When you look at his speed, he's got like 4.5 speed, a little bit slower, but a little bit bigger, right? He's 6 foot, 225 pounds. When I look at breaking him down, so a little bit bigger, but again, workhorse capable right here. We got it listed as workhorse out of Iowa. Let's go over some notes here, kind of what they're saying here, and then kind of my notes when I was looking at the tape here. Masterful tempo behind the line. This is huge. I was noticing this as well. When he's getting the ball handed off to him, he's got great vision. Kind of reminds me of a better version. I'm not a big fan of Le'Veon Bell, but that vision behind the line to be able to find the hole and burst through it was really, really phenomenal, right? Devastating plant and ability to go. Really good. Natural forward lean. I noticed that as well when he's running. He's got this forward lean, kind of got that momentum going forward. Really, really nice to see. We want to get those extra yards. Runs are controlled, violence through contact, consistently breaking arm tackles while maintaining balance through traffic. Shows impressive burst through the hole, like I mentioned. Very, very good. Reliable hands and battle-tested workhorse. Again, another guy that could be a workhorse. What I would hate to see is these guys landing in a committee. That would really, really, buzz kill them as well. Let me give you guys a couple notes that I had. In 2024, he had 8 100-yard games. This is huge. 8 plus 100-yard games. That's huge. Vision and breakaway speed was pretty good. Tempo control behind the line. Those are notes that I made that kind of matched up with kind of these scouting reports. Really amazing. And really the only knock to any of these guys is some people are saying, well, their route running tree isn't good or blah, 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 or could improve on pass protection. But I'm not really concerned because if these guys fall into a situation where they're going to get a ton of volume, where they're on a good offense with a decent O-line, and they're going to get the volume. They're going to excel, but it depends on their landing spot. So Caleb Johnson, I like him. Those are the notes on. Go back, listen again if you need to. Drop a comment below if you have any questions on this or anybody else you guys really like to see this year or might want me to do a video on. Drop it below. I will address it, okay? But I'm kind of going over the top 4 here on this list here that really need addressing, okay? I'm going to get to 2 more here. Again, I'm saving Genty at the end because, again, I got some notes on him here on him. But before I get into that, guys, head over to mybookie.ag. That's the site I use for my bets. And again, you're saying, well, Joe, why would I sign up for MyBookie? Football isn't on. Go put your deposit in now. You get a 50% match deposit using code FFC, and you can get in on the action, guys, for UFC, baseball, other stuff, other sports. You can pretty much get in on anything, really. So mybookie.ag, get your account set up, put in the deposit so you're set for the football season, and you can get in on props for the NFL draft, who's being drafted first, what the expectations are there. You can get in on everything. Go in and check what they got. MyBookie.ag, the code you want to use, FFC. Get in on the action right now, okay? So I'm going to pull up the next guy here, okay? So I'm excited about this guy as well, but I can't express this enough. Landing spot is massive. So let's talk about Travion Henderson here. 5'10", 208 pounds, okay, out of Ohio State, running back, senior. Just, again, a little bit lower on the rushing yards, 1,016, 7.1 yards per carry, higher than some of the other guys, 10 rushing touchdowns. Not as much volume as I'd like to see out of him out of college, which, again, you could say that there's more tread on the tire, which could be a good thing as well. Workhorse capable as well. And let's go over some notes here for him. Again, 5'10", 208 pounds, a little faster, 4.39, a little faster than the other guys, which is good. I like that explosive potential. I see him potentially being in a committee, hopefully not as big as the other guys, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, I still think that there's nothing wrong with 5'10", 208. That's that perfect running back build, but not as big as the guy I mentioned, not as big as Caleb Johnson, which is around 220 plus pounds. But what I want to talk about is his notes here. He's got that explosiveness. He's got that burst. Masterful running tempo, natural pass protection, exceptional contact, balance through track, blah, blah, blah. His vision is on the second level is outstanding. Great. This is cool. This is a note that I noticed as well. Exceptional lateral quickness allows him to string together multiple cuts while without losing speed. That's huge. Running style combined control with power and explosive. So runs nice, forward lean. This guy, another guy. This guy notices forward lean a little bit more. He's got that natural forward lean. Extra yards after contact, which is really good. Notes I made on him. Elite acceleration, pass protection is good. Really good hands, forward lean, and his vision was really, really good. So after he catches the ball out of the backfield or just simply gets a handoff, he's really able to find the gaps and run through them and get that breakaway speed, which is really, really nice. So Travion Henderson, welcome. Welcome to the NFL. I can't wait to see where you land. I think there's a ton of upside with him. He's going to get that burst. I don't think he's as explosive and as good as Jahmyr Gibbs, but kind of gives me that Jahmyr Gibbs type vibe. Hopefully he's not stuck in a committee, but a guy like him could definitely be stuck in a committee as well. So again, very interesting to see Travion Henderson. Let's go. Let's get a good landing spot, okay? And the last guy here I want to talk about is Ashton Jeanty, the top running back prospect. Now, I'm in a dynasty league. I'm definitely going to be targeting him as my 1.01. I purposely finished last place. I went like all young players in this Dynasty League. Dynasty League, I look at the long haul. I want to get all the rookies and really, really target them. I got Ladd McConkey, I got Bijan, I've got Brian Thomas Jr. in that league. And I purposely finished last place. My quarterback is Jared Goff. I definitely need some quarterback help and some tight end help, but I'm really, really solid all around. But I wanted that 101 because I really wanted Jeanty. But I may pass on Jeanty if he doesn't end up in a good landing spot. So let's talk about him. But before I do even that, I want to talk about where he's potentially going to land. Now, I think, let me just take a look at it here. I think that the Ravens are picking up. Ravens is the team I want to talk about here. Ravens are meeting with him. Now, that really ticks me off because they got Henry. Now, I did a video yesterday talking about why I'm not drafting Derrick Henry, 31 years old, last hurrah. If the Ravens have Henry, why are you looking at Jeanty, right? So that's the type of stuff that pisses me off when I'm looking at fantasy, is that these teams are looking at running back by committee when that would absolutely destroy Jeanty's value if he ends up on the Ravens. That's what I want to talk about. I think they're picking 27th in the draft. He's not going to fall that far, but it's something I really want to talk about that's really, really annoying, is that the last thing we want to see is Jeanty end up in a committee. We want to see him on the Cowboys, who are picking much higher, whereas if he ends up there, he can and will be the workhorse running back, okay? Without a doubt. I don't see any reason why. So let's talk about Ashton Jeanty. I don't think he's going to end up on the Ravens, but just, again, pisses me off. You guys have Henry, but that's an indicator that if you're drafting Henry early in fantasy football drafts, he could absolutely bust. So that's a note that I'm taking into consideration. I think last year was his last hurrah. They're looking at another running back. And hopefully, they don't get Caleb Johnson or Marion Hampton, because you also got the running upside of Lamar Jackson, which is going to really, destroy the value of these guys as well. So let's talk about Jeanty, the top prospect. So he was the second in Heisman voting, Heisman Trophy winner potential. I love this guy, man. 5'9", 215 out of Boise State. I mean, look at these numbers his last season, 2601, and we're looking at 29 rushing touchdowns, 23 receptions. He had more receptions in his prior seasons, but 138 receiving yards. I mean, this guy is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Let's talk about why he's so good. 5'9", 215. He runs about a 4.4. Okay, let's talk about what makes him so good. Elite contact balance. He sheds tackles with ease, maintains momentum through traffic. Elite vision, anticipation, constantly finds and exploits gaps. And I'm agreeing with all this stuff here. Soft hands, wide catch radius, rare combination of burst, long speed, and can take any touch to the house. That's what I love. That Saquon Barkley ability to take it to the house. Love that. Runs with exceptional pad level and leg drive, consistently falls forward and finishes runs. Game breaker, who elevates his game in crucial moments, puts his team on his back mentality, advanced pass protection, workhorse capability, proven durability, thrives under work. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. And that's what I noticed as well. Durable, soft hands, game breaker, burst, vision. He's got it all. Now, some people say, well, in college, he played easier teams, blah, blah, blah. Listen, he still got the ability. He still performed. The numbers were there. If he lands in a great spot, he's got the physical ability to absolutely crush it. I just hope he doesn't end up on the Ravens, which, again, I want to talk about. Would be absolutely catastrophic to not only him, but Derrick Henry as well. The fact that Ravens are looking for a running back should be an indicator that you probably don't want to spend a first-round pick on Derrick Henry. And these are the types of clues I look at in 16 rounds. I lay it out, and I look at players to avoid. I looked at all the metrics last year, told you to avoid Christian McCaffrey while everyone is telling you to draft him, right? You got to think outside the box. You got to see what the teams are doing, right? Don't just look at like what the copy and paste rankings are telling you. Look at what the teams are doing. So pre-order 16 rounds. Again, I just want to do a quick video here, kind of overview on these guys. Omarion Hampton, Caleb Johnson, Travion Henderson, Ashton Jeanty, tons of upside. Let's see where they land. And make sure you guys are glued to this channel. And I'm going to tell you who I like in 16 rounds and in my Patreon group, patreon.com/FFcounselor. Get in. They're the first to get any news in regards to who I'm really liking here for fantasy, in regards to these guys, wide receivers, and other positions, exclusive access to in my Patreon group. All right. Make sure you guys subscribe, smash, tap, and slap it. Those are some running backs you got to take a look at for fantasy football 2025 in regards to dynasty and in year long as well. All right. We'll talk soon. Drop a comment below. Who do you love? What do you think of these guys? I'll talk to you guys in the next video. I'm out.